This is Mr. Ng going over the Math 5 Chapter P test version A, taken August 28, 2018. Write your name nice and neatly. Multiple choice, circle the best solution. Although I'm not looking at the work for your multiple choice questions, it kind of tells me if you're kind of just guessing or if you have a bunch of correct answers. I get kind of suspicious. Here on the left side of the equation, I have 3x minus 8x. So you're just looking at the numbers in front. 3 minus 8 is a negative 5x equals, and then here negative 27 minus 13, this will become negative 40. So if I divide by negative 5 on both sides, because this is multiplication, the inverse or opposite is division, these will cancel and you're left with x equals 8. Better choice B. Question number 2, this should be a familiar question. If you guys recognize from this test, I've taken several questions from your quizzes, last year's tests. I have negative 6 times the square root of 147. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to write out all the factors of 147. Two numbers that multiply to be 147. I'm going to think, well, is 2 going to work? No. How about 3? No. Let's see, 3, 12. I think 3 would work. Let's try 3. 3 goes into 14 4 times, remainder 2. 3 goes into 27 9 times. So that worked. And that's a pretty good one because I have a perfect square here. Let's try another one. I see 7. Let's see if 7 works. 7 goes into 14 twice, and 7 goes into that last one once. Of the 3, I think in a previous video I may have done 21 times 7. But I'm going to choose 49 times 3. Because negative 6 times, so 147 breaks down to 49 times 3. And 49 is 7 times 7. And don't forget to bring down that 3. So here you have a pair. Those will come out. Now when this comes out, it's not 7 minus 6, it's 7 times negative 6, which is negative 42 radical 3. And that would be choice A. Question number 3. I have radical 6 plus 5 radical 96 plus 6 times radical 150. So I can't add these. These are not like terms because all of them do not have a radical 6. So that's probably my hint. So as I break these down, radical 6 plus 5 times radical 96, I'm going to divide it by my factors of 6. So I'll have 5 times 6 goes into 9 once, and then there's a remainder 3. 6 goes into 36 6 times. And then the square root of 16 is really 4 times 4, so that's a pair. So it's really 4 times 5, which gives me 20 radical 6. And remember, you can't break down 6 anymore, so I'm going to do now 150. Now, I like to think of bigger numbers like money. So I'm going to think of 25, and then how many quarters are in $1.50? That's 6 of them. And then the square root of 25 is a perfect square because it's really 5 times 5, so a pair of 5s come out. And then it's really 5 times 6, which gives you 30. And then here, I'm just going to add all of the coefficients. So that would be 1, 20, and 30. If you add those all together, you will get 51 radical 6. Is your answer, and that is letter choice A. Question number 4, it tells you to evaluate. So I am expecting you guys to show all your work in that small space. So number 1, you should be using pencil. I'm only showing you pen to kind of help you understand what's happening in the problem. In this problem, b minus 2 squared plus a squared. So for every b value, I'm going to be putting in 7. But when I do that, I'm going to use a parentheses or a bracket. And for the a value, because there is no, you can use another set of parentheses or brackets. Remember, those are just grouping symbols and they're the same thing. And in this problem, I'm going to choose PEMDAS because I need to evaluate, which this should be a hint, that is to substitute and simplify. So I'm going to do the inside most grouping symbol. So in here, this would be 7 minus 2, which is 5. And then I'm going to do the exponents, so this would be 25 plus 36. No multiplication, no division, and then addition. So if I add those together, I get 61 is my answer. So that would be their choice D. Question number 5. It says to simplify, I have a negative and then -1 squared. This one here, you're thinking, should I do the opposite? So here's the most common mistake for students is do the opposite of -1. They think it's positive. Remember, if you go back up to our order of operations, it tells us to do exponents before you multiply. You could think of this as multiplying a -1. So essentially you have to do this first, and I'm just going to expand that. So here's a hint when you're doing anything with exponents. When in doubt, write it out. What does that mean? Here I would choose -1 times -1. And if you think about it, this is really like a -1 we talked about, right? So negative times negative is positive, positive times negative is a negative. -1 is my answer. And if you got stuck on that, you can also use that in your calculator. So let me go ahead and pull out a calculator, student-friendly one. Usually in Math 5, a student probably has, most likely will have a calculator that looks like this. Okay, I'm going to choose -1 first. Let's see if I can do math type. Let's see. So that's a negative sign. Notice how I pressed, zoom out a little bit. This is the negative sign, this is the subtraction sign, parentheses, -1, and then power of 2 is this button. So this calculator has math type, which means you can actually see that in the calculator, and you see that we got the same answer of -1. Now for a problem with a radical sign, like questions 2 and 3, these are exact answers. So about to answer. These are exact answers. I don't really need the calculator. Question number 6 is another order of operations problem. So again, I like to write it every single time. I'm going to write out PEMDAS. So the first thing I'm going to do is the innermost parentheses. So here I have 3. I'm going to do this one. 7 minus 5 is 2 squared. And 20 minus 19 is 1 squared plus 14. And then I'm going to take care of any exponents, so those are still inside. So that'd be 4 plus 1 plus 14. And then within here that I'm looking for still within the brackets, so 3, bracket and parentheses are the same, so 5 plus 14. And then I'm going to do multiplication. 3 times 5 is 15. No division. And then addition. 15 plus 14 gives me 29. So 29 is my answer for that problem. There are 6 multiple choice questions. So 6 times 2 gives me 12. And then 1 point for writing your first and last name neatly, and 1 point for this circling the correct period. So that's 14 points total for that page. Alright, on the back side for number 7, it says make sure to show all your work and box your answers. Simplify. So the square root of 63, I'm going to write out all the factors. 63 and 1, 21 and 3, 9 and 7. Although any of these would work, this is the best one because it has a perfect square. 9 can be broken down as 3 times 3, so I have a pair here. The pair comes out, and you only write the number once. So 3 radical 7 is your correct answer. Remember to check your answer if this 3 goes back inside. There's 2 of them. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 7 is 63. You got 2 points if you just wrote some factors that worked and the rest was wrong. Partial credit maybe if you got down to this part. Question number 8 asks you to simplify. This is a order of operations problem. So if I were doing the problem, I would write out PEMDAS, and then from here I would think about parentheses first, the innermost one, so 4 plus 2 is 6. Now inside this second set of parentheses or brackets, then I can do 2 to the third power, which is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And then I have exponents outside here, so this is 2 squared, which is 4, not negative 2 squared. 8 minus 6 is 2. 5 minus 4 is 1. This reads 5 minus this number, which is 2. This is not, a lot of students would forget the negative sign. If you did something correct in there, 2 points. If you're almost down to the bottom, 3 points. Common mistake is probably just forgetting this one and then that negative sign. Question number 9 is function notation. Evaluate f of x equals 6x squared minus 4 if f of negative 2. So the key is taking the f of x and putting it above here, and it tells you f is the same, parentheses the same, parentheses the same. Your x value is negative 2. If your x value is negative 2, that means anytime you see an x, you're going to put in negative 2. Over here, you don't do anything. It just lets it fall down. This side, you're still using order of operations to simplify. So this would be exponents first. Negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. Common mistake is write negative there. Then you do multiplication. 6 times 4 is 24. Don't forget that. Minus 4, and you get 20. F of negative 2, the input is negative 2. The output is 20. Negative 2 comma 20 is your answer. If you got 20, you got full credit. If you did the substitution of a negative 2 but everything else was wrong, you got 2 points. If you could simplify and made an error in simplifying, gave you 3 points. Question number 10. Solve 3n minus 5 equals negative 8 times quantity 6 plus 5n. The first thing I would do here is distribute. So it's negative 8 times 6. Negative 8 times the positive 5n. This becomes negative 48, and this becomes negative 40n. I want to get the like terms together, so I'm going to add the 40n to both sides. This equals 0. This is 43n minus 5 equals negative 48. Get the constants together, so add 5 to both sides. 43n equals negative 43. Divide by 43 on both sides. This is showing you how to simplify fractions. They are factors. You can cancel out the 43's to be 1, so you're left with n equals negative 1. Remember, when you're solving, you can always check your answer by substituting negative 1, and you recognize it gets back to you to negative 8. What kind of weekend are you going to have? Every Friday I tell you, have a fun, safe, and legal. You have to have all of those to get the 1 point. And then if you add up 16 plus your 14, that should give you the pre-score. Hopefully you don't have any points subtracted, and then your final score. Good luck.